yesterday that I was seeing Modi in the stadium, they instantly said to me, if you ever get to meet him, you must touch his feet. Because he's believed in my family that he is like a reincarnation of God.
So thank you for being here this evening, and please join with me in welcoming my friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Well, the atmosphere here is absolutely electric. Tens of thousands of people have packed out Docklands Stadium. It could be a Taylor Swift or Coldplay concert, but they're not here to see a pop star. They're here to see the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, one of the most powerful and polarising leaders in modern India.
And for all young Australians, he's just always been an inspiration for us, and I'm really grateful that he's shown us this.
He's like Uncle Modi to us. He will be on the TV in the background. It's almost like we're having chai with him. So he's part of the family.
Yeah.
Hinduism is now the fastest growing religion in Australia. In India, it's been highly politicised by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. His nationalistic brand of Hinduism is called Hindutva, and its influence is being felt here in Australia.
The face of Hinduism has changed, and it has become increasingly polarized into people wearing religiosity on their sleeves. It's become more and more muscular, more and more masculine, and it is oppressive to everyone else.
So what is it about Narendra Modi? Why does he command this kind of devotion? Well, for his supporters, he's become a symbol of Hindu pride and national identity. But in India, religion has become a powerful political force, one that divides communities at home and abroad.
Entering the temple, be washing the feet and hands as well.
Across many Australian suburbs, Hinduism shapes life and identity for families still practicing centuries-old traditions.
And both the hands, I'm reciting the mantra. Om Gananantat Gadabadigung Havamahe Priyanantika Bakalapangada Patalajay Punnagajati Karavira Lasala Pushpai Bilava Prabhava Tulsi Dalamata Devi Swam.
Bhavika, Trishul and their 3 children are visiting the temple in Sydney's west. Trishul Darji was born in Britain.
It's quite shallow up until where those surfers are, but then after that it drops deep.
And now lives on the Central Coast in New South Wales, where he works as a GP.
On your marks, get set, go!
His spiritual beliefs are strongly rooted in Hinduism.
It's a path to oneness. And I still follow Hindu practices, but I've taken things like yoga, tantra, Advaita, the systems within Hinduism to help me develop as a person, to help me reach oneness, which is my unique journey.
Bhavika is a trained microbiologist and hair and makeup artist. She was raised in a deeply religious household in London and continues to follow those traditions in Australia.
I still remember, like on a Sunday morning very early, I used to wake up to the sound of the bell ringing. My mum would, like the diva, you can hear the bell, you can smell the incense sticks, and that's how I would wake up on a Sunday morning, to the sound of that, and my mum kind of singing the holy song or the arti.
Bhavika and Trishul's family come from Gujarat, the hometown of Narendra Modi. Like many, they believe he's helped elevate India's standing on the world stage.
He has implemented some amazing infrastructure. He has, cleaned up. He's really cleaned up India. So I think there's a lot of love there for him, and religion, I feel like, is just incorporated in that.
We want to make it as inclusive as possible.
Yeah.
So we have like a Sikh speaker, we have Christians, we have Muslims. And they all...
But not all Indian Australians support Prime Minister Modi's version of Hinduism or Hindutva. Nandini Sen Mehra is a writer and poet and an advocate with Hindus for human rights.
Hinduism is being sort of reframed as Hindutva, and that has become sort of the mainstay of the political party that's in power. Hindutva, I feel, is closer to a political sort of ideology, and there's a roadmap, and there's a sort of particular way of looking at the world, which places certain people on top of a hierarchy and places certain people outside of that. If your practices are different, if, for instance, your political leanings are different, if you want to live life in a different way, you're anti-national or you're anti-Hindu or you're outside.
Hi, Aarti. How are you?
It's so good
Really
to
nice
meet
to meet you. Thank you so
finally.
much for coming.
I've come to the Art Gallery of New South Wales, where they're currently showing avatar forms of Vishnu. These Indian deities have captivated people for centuries, shaping one of the world's richest cultural traditions.
This is one of my favourite pieces, and that's Ram, and that's Ravana, and that's Lakshman. So it's from one of the most famous and well-loved mythological stories in India, the Ramayana. Rama, of course, is an avatar of Vishnu. Vishnu is the god that this whole exhibition is in celebration of. Rama is one of the...
Journalist Aarti Betigeri has also been tracking the rise of the Indian diaspora in Australia.
So Vishnu descends to Earth in times of chaos to kind of, clean up messes, smooth things out, and that's what Rama is doing here.
I think Lord Ram is one of the most beloved avatars of Vishnu, right? But also, I think one of the characters that I guess Prime Minister Modi also sees himself in, right? They see him as like a god reincarnate at the moment.
100%. Prime Minister Modi has styled himself as a godlike figure in the avatar, I suppose, of Rama. One of the reasons for that is that he's styled himself as a kind of a god man. Indians love their gods. People really revere Modi. They might have a photograph or an image of him in their family shrine. There might be photos of him garlanded on the streets, but they absolutely love the fact that they can worship him as a godlike figure.
Modi takes all opportunities to align himself with Lord Ram, as seen here in this lavish festival promoted by his government. Many feared it would exacerbate historic tension between Muslims and Hindus over the Ayodhya temple.
Ayodhya is what Mecca is to Muslims, what Bethlehem is to Christians. Ayodhya is like that to Hindus. So Hindus naturally are going to be wanting to connect with Lord Rama in any way they can, and they get very possessive over that area, yes.
To the Hindus, this is the birthplace of their god Ram. To build their shrine, they must first destroy a 400-year-old mosque which stands on the site.
This religious conflict between Muslims and Hindus grew until the Babri Masjid was finally torn down in 1992, leading to deadly riots across the country. Thousands were slaughtered, mainly Muslims. In 2024, the Prime Minister's Office of India widely publicised the completion of a Hindu temple on the same site, with an extravagant celebration. Seen by some as a symbol of the new Hindu nation. But given the timing just before the election, it was met with fear and apprehension by Muslims.
The impact of that was that it served as probably the most potent symbol of Hindu primacy, Hindu supremacy in India. And it also did establish him, for once and for all, as a godlike figure, as a Ram who'd come to earth.
These gatherings of support for Narendra Modi show a growing Hindu nationalism in which the Hindu religion dominates all others.
During Modi's campaign in 2014, I was living in New Delhi and I noticed a shift in the way that other religions are spoken about, and in particular Muslims. People who normally would never speak ill of Muslims suddenly felt they had a license to. I think Modi is synonymous with a rising wave of Islamophobia that has been buried under the surface, if you will, in India, and now it's quite out there, and almost in a way that's accepted and acceptable.
Modi allows you to be anti-Muslim because Muslims are being killed on the street and nobody raises an eyebrow. So say you were brought up in secular India where you were supposed to, be tolerant and accepting of everybody, including Muslims, Christians, Dalits, whatever, but you've always had an anti-Muslim bias. He allows us to feel comfortable about prejudices.
India is one of the world's largest Muslim countries. I think there's something like 200 million Muslims. Of course, Hindus are the majority. 80% of India is Hindu. But it's still a very significant Muslim nation, and you can't shy away from that.
Today, Melbourne is gripped by Modi Mania.
Are you excited about seeing Shri Narendra Modi?
And the Darji family have travelled from Sydney to be a part of it all.
You look smart for the Prime Minister of India.
Hi, Bhavika. How are you?
Thank you. How are you?
It's lovely to meet you. I'm always fascinated because, you're quite young, but still feeling this kind of connection to a political leader. It's quite rare, isn't it?
Absolutely. For me, especially, he's so inspirational, not just because he's upped the game for Hindu nationalism in India, but more so for his focus on governance.
I think we can all relate to him because he comes from such humble background. His family, they were selling tea in a railway station, and from a very young age, he was politically inclined. He had a vision, he knew what he wanted to do, he had those leadership qualities, and he built that, and he worked his way up through the ranks. Okay, guys, Modi meets Melbourne. Here we come.
Ready? Let's go.
However, the visit is also reigniting tensions within the Indian diaspora, like some in the Sikh community.
We are demonstrating the visit of Modi to Australia. Sikhs for Justice here stands the Khalistan movement seceding from India for their homeland, sovereign homeland, Khalistan. I'd like him to sign a deal at the United Nations and give Khalistan to the Sikhs.
I think religion and politics are two different things. Whilst I admire that Narendra Modi is a devout Hindu, I understand that someone who has that degree of power and influence is naturally going to attract some degree of negativity. People have different opinions and different perspectives, and that diversity is our strength.
Trish, I get what you're saying. Religion, politics, different things. But the Hindu pride, the Hindu identity has become the real core of the BJP and Narendra Modi's politics. What do you make, though, of some minorities that feel that they're excluded from that kind of inclusivity,
I think Hinduism as a religion doesn't exclude. And, it's very respectful for all religions. And the Hindu way isn't the only way. And I think whilst Narendra Modi is a devout Hindu, I think he does embrace other cultures and other traditions, and he's very accepting of them.
What would your message be to some of the people today? We've got Sikh separatists here. We've got people here from the Indian Muslim community who feel that our Prime Minister, Australian Prime Minister, should be questioning the Indian Prime Minister on that human rights record. Do you think it's a fair criticism?
I think it's a fair criticism. I think everybody should be entitled to their own perspectives, and I feel politicians and people of power should be asked these difficult questions and these hard questions and given the opportunity to demonstrate what they believe in and to exert their influence.
Yeah, what do you want? Yes, would love a cup of tea.
Back in Sydney, Devleena Ghosh is preparing for Holi, the festival of colour, with her good friend Nandini Sen Mehra. For them, Modi is a divisive leader.
Tea house, and they sell their own brews. As a country, we're finding our place in the world. Right? The old world is crumbling right before our eyes. A new world is yet to be born, right? Is it the time for monsters? Perhaps it is. But the thing, though, is that when you're trying to find an identity, it's very easy to sort of come around this image of a strong man, this image of, oh, India is now finally being respected.
But there is broad agreement that Modi has achieved a newfound confidence and pride in being Indian.
There was for a long time in India a real colonial hangover. Understand that it's a very young country. It's only 80 years old. For a long time, it was really finding its feet as a country, as a society. Who are we? What's our purpose? What's our reason for being? Are we still in the thrall of the British Raj? Are we now looking to the US? But I think what Modi inculcated within Indians was a pride in being Indian itself, of being from South Asia.
We can also actually ask Manbir, no? If he can do like from a Sikh perspective, because Holi is such a big festival for them.
These women believe Modi's version of Hindutva has made India more conservative, and one which no longer treats all religions equally. They worry that those prejudices are making inroads into Australia.
Unlike India, what has happened is because the diaspora that has moved here has been basically a traditionalist and conservative one, they have tried to present the diaspora as being quite monolithically Hindu in a particular way, without acknowledging all of the various traditions that exist in Hinduism.
That the ideology has carried over into Australian society is absolutely of no surprise to me. It's just the way that diaspora groups operate. You know, the larger the group, the more chance you have to only socialise within that same group, and that means that you're only going to talk about the things that connect you, that bind you, whether that is being South Asian, whether it's cricket, whether it is having this ideology of Hindutva. I hope that in the second generation it will die out.
As more and more Indians choose to migrate to Australia, it's changing the way Hinduism is practiced here.
Where I came to Australia like 20 years ago, and I remember back in those times, not many Hindu people around me. But now I have seen, coming from Canberra, I have seen there are about 4 Hindu temples. So you can tell that the community is definitely growing.
Bhavika is hosting today's celebration in Western Sydney.
I've grown up in England as a Hindu, and my father would take me to Holi. Krishna depicted dark skin, and his beautiful wife, rather, had very fair skin. So he would playfully kind of colour her with all these different watercolours, and it was just to show kind of love and unity. And that's where kind of Holi comes in. So it's celebrated now based on rather Krishna's relationship with those colours.
Interestingly, they weren't actually married. Krishna's wife is Rukmini, not Radha. But what that represents, there's deep meaning to that. So Krishna and Radha are lovers, and it represents a divine love, a love that isn't held by bondage, by signatures, by, you know, it's a freedom. It's how love should be, you know. So it's what it represents, not just what it is.
However, Hindutva has sought to redefine Hinduism, traditionally known for its diversity and pluralism, into a more insular and strident model.
When you have a religion whose religious book starts with saying we don't know, it opens up enormous spaces for thinking and imagination and collaboration and all kinds of things, right? Which is being constricted by Hindutva, which says, ironically, that you have to be like all the other religions which have a holy book, Bible or Quran, which have one God and which have only one way, you know, one path. Whereas the thing with Hinduism is that it always was many paths, you know, many rivers to the sea sort of thing. And also the validation of monotheism over polytheism, which seemed normal to Europeans because for whatever reason, they decided that one god was somehow more acceptable than a variety of gods.
मेरे मित्र प्रधानमंत्री जी के सम्मान में आप सब अपने मोबाइल फोन की फ्लैश लाइट बजा के इनको सम्मानित कीजिए। इनके सम्मान में
Modi's recent visit to Australia has fostered even closer ties between the two countries, economic and political. For Aarti Bettigeri, that is a positive aspect of Modi's leadership.
I think all politicians who know how to harness the Indian diaspora will be successful in their relevant electorates. India is really positioning itself as a future global leader. It recognises that the world is in a state of flux now, with a few different powers competing for hegemon status. It sees itself as a contender for the crown, and it has now recognised that the way to do that is to gain solid relationships with a range of other countries, and Australia has been knocking on India's door for decades. India has only ever opened it up a crack. About 7 or 8 years ago that changed, and I think India recognised, oh, we really need to build up our other relationships, because we see China as this massive looming threat.
There's so much to be gained economically, people-to-people relations. Do you think that that is part of the reason often our politicians don't really question Prime Minister Modi and the Indian government on its human rights record?
I think the Australian government sees more value in cultivating India as a really profound friend and partner, and sometimes that means making difficult decisions about what you raise and what you don't raise.
Some worry about what messages Australian politicians are perhaps unwittingly sending.
I would appeal to the politicians to actually learn about Hinduism and not take the easy way out of one particular group who may be a bit noisier than the others and take their sort of version of Hinduism for the whole version. But listen, talk to other people, get more views. And that's the problem with the lack of education. They don't try to find out more.
All of these things, it's documented, it's available for anyone who wants to see. So there, they say you can't wake up someone who's pretending to be asleep. The fear for me is that it's very easy to weaponize the faith when you're living in a world of vast inequality. When you can't solve people's problems, their day-to-day existential problems, when you cannot give them housing, when their job prospects are not that good, you can get them to feel good about themselves by saying, hey, but look at your faith. We're world leaders in Hinduism, right? So that becomes a rallying sort of force that almost subdues your other sort of existential problems. I'm just pinning her sari here so that it stays put. All of this stays, so it's all connected, so everything stays in place. You have to be able to hold
and
the
tuck it in
archer
here.
this way, like it must come here.
After getting dressed for their own holy event, Devleena and Nandini are joined by Shanti Raman.
That holy, in a strange way, typifies what we represent, because it is about bringing diverse people together.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
I think we don't need to preach to anyone.
In Hinduism, most ceremonial events begin with a worship ritual like this one, in a puja.
What I have found is that face of Hinduism has changed, and it has become increasingly polarized into people wearing religiosity on their sleeves. And I think their stamp on Hinduism as the way to be has become more and more muscular, more and more masculine, and it is oppressive to everyone else.
The Hindus for Human Rights holy event brings together people from different religions: Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, and Buddhists.
So today, as we smear color on one another, let us also smear color on the conscience of the world.
So what is the future of Hinduism in Australia?
I actually think that a matter for hope is a lot of the young people from the subcontinent are actually quite progressive because of or in spite of their
We should
parental
let them be.
generation.
We
And
should
I
let
think
them
we
be
should
and
hope
not,
that
you know.
they will, keep carrying that forward.
The hope again is that every generation, I think, comes with its own clarity in the way they think, and they come with their own solutions.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't ignore what Modi's achieved. He's brought divided people together, so he's done a lot of good work. And I was really pleased to see that the country that I'm living in welcomes him with open arms, that they respect the good work that he's done, the commitment that he has always shown to Hinduism and to India.
But for most Hindus, it's not the political that's important. It's their personal commitment to faith.
It's all about just being true to yourself and finding yourself, finding your inner divine soul. And I just believe that overall that is what's probably more important.
For me personally, it's to sort of approach life with an inquiring mind, because that's one of the things that attracts me to the faith itself, that there are so many interpretations and there isn't one way to actually be a Hindu.
Are we jumping?